ירושלים של זהב, יושב נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שירה ישני כינור. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שירה ישני כינור. ירושלים של זהב, ושל נחושת נשנור, הלא לכל שירה ישני כינור. Hello, friends. Uh, the reason I'm singing that song is because of Asarah B'Tevet, which is tomorrow. But I wanted to talk about this holiday that is important for the Jewish people. Um, it is a solemn holiday. It's a fast day. Um, Basically, it is the day that commemorates when Nebuchadnezzar sieged Jerusalem, and basically this was a tragedy for the Jewish people, actually for all people. Um, yeah, it's a tragedy for the Christians too, if you think about it, because of Yeshua. But basically, Nebuchadnezzar sieged Jerusalem, and after that, they would breach the walls a few days later, and on the 9th of Av, they would destroy the Holy Temple, which was a tragedy for for all people. Um, and Asara B'Tevet basically commemorates that day, and so we fast on that day, and you know don't eat until nightfall. Um, and this is a solemn holiday, but for me personally, it was a period of growth because I had lost my way and um, I was dealing with problems that had to do with essentially broken relationships and broken families. Um, I had gone through a very difficult divorce, and um, basically, I lost my way and I had to find the light again, which is the light of the Torah. And for me, that was a wondrous occasion because I was able to connect with my own spirit before. Like before, I was super devastated because um, I sorely missed people and I was very dependent on them. I was very dependent on my exes for love and support, um, even though it was a very paradoxical kind of love because there was also a lot of cruelty in it. There was a lot of yeah, a lot of abuse and narcissism, just a lot of backstabbing and just people not being there for you and not appreciating the things that you gave them and betraying you even after all the things you did for them. And yeah, it was just a very devastating time. Like I did not at the time I did not know if I would get through it. Like it really shook me to the core, but eventually I realized that my life is still actually better off without those people because they were holding me back. They were causing me to dim my light, and really causing me to stray from my own path, my own mission, which is to evangelize, to spread the loving message of Yeshua, and to try to bridge our nations together. Um, and so I had to find the light of the Torah again, and basically, um, yeah, that's what this talk is going to be about. It's going to be about emotional maturity and also how I relate it to a particular story in the Torah, specifically the story of Joseph and his brothers. Joseph and his brothers who basically sold him out to slavery and you know really ruined his life. Like they destroyed him. They tried to kill him. Like they actually told his father that he was dead. Like they smeared blood all over his robe and gave it to their father. And this is you know to me like a very classical case of emotional abuse, of family abuse, of narcissistic trauma, and just also it speaks to me volumes about emotional maturity. Like I think I think that emotional maturity has a lot to do with just how people abuse each other and just Joseph was the one in the family that was probably the most emotionally mature, and like he had to mature in his journey. And like I feel like I'm on a similar journey, and like I had to realize that certain people were not good for me in my life, and that I was better off being alone, even though it definitely did not feel that way. Like it definitely felt like devastation and pain and just it was turmoil. It was inner turmoil. Like I was I was a wreck, and I was just, like a boat lost in the waters, like being tossed around by the waves. I just, yeah, did not have a foundation. Um, and so like I'm coming to you, with a message of hope. Like, for all of you people out there that are going through very difficult divorces, or that are single, that are going through heartache and breakups, my heart goes out to you. Like, it's a very difficult problem, and it is, it does wrench your soul and cause you to doubt God, and to doubt, um, your place in the world, and just, doubt the family, and like, people being there for you, and just, especially after, 15 plus years of being together, like, those of you that have kids, even, like, these wounds go deep, and like, just the trauma of narcissistic abuse is so pervasive, and like so inescapable. And I think it's such a huge problem. Like, yeah, it's such a huge problem. Some people just never grow up. Some people just take out their pain on others, on people that are weaker, on their significant others, on women and children. And, they're never able to heal their own trauma. They're never able to deal with their own problems. They're never able to deal with their own ego issues, like, of, let's say someone who has to push other people down in order to feel important, in order to feel like they have their own place in the world. Like, I think, this to me reminds me of Pharaoh and of the Egyptians. Like, they were constantly pushing the Jewish people down, and just, enslaving them, and going through genocide, killing off their babies, um, to enrich themselves. And it's just very, very cruel, very, very immoral, but also, like, on a personal level, it stems from emotional maturity. Like, I think the Torah, really teaches us about chesed, about kindness, and about, growing emotionally. And just emotional maturity is about, doing the right thing. It's also about having consideration for others. It's about, seeing other perspectives and not putting your own needs first all the time. Like, it can't just be, whatever you want, all the time. And then, like, your needs first, and then, like, other people's needs don't get met, and like they're not even able to voice their needs. Like, it's just, speaking to the woman out there, like, we have to do something about this. Like, we can't let it continue. Like, I think, as a woman, you know, our tendency is to do nothing, and to let it go, to let it slide, just because we love those people, and we want to show them that we're there for them, and that we care for them, that we listen to them, that we, can see what they're going through, and like, don't want to put them through more pain. And then, so you might get into that habit of, not really speaking up against it, or not really doing anything about it. But really, that doesn't work. Like, you have to point it out, and you have to crush it at the root. Like, you have to get at it early, because it's a problem that can't be solved. Like, if you leave it there for a long time, it's gonna grow, and it's not going to get better. Like, you actually, you have you yeah, like, we have to educate our children. Like, this is a problem that I don't think I can heal in adults, but like, I think I could heal it in children, if we parent them correctly. Um, but there people have major emotional issues, just like with their ego, and like with needing to get validation from people. And it's just, a lot. It reminds me of the Torah. It reminds me of, just these evil family dynamics of constantly, putting someone down to enrich someone else. Of envy and jealousy, like with Joseph and his brothers. Like, they hated Joseph because, he got all the attention. Like, he was like the golden child of the family. Like, he was, the prophesied one, the, chosen one. But they really didn't like him, because it's just, he got all the love, and all the money, and the attention. And, they were envious. They were also emotionally immature. They, their father had four wives, and, there were 12 brothers, and, there wasn't enough love and resources to go around. They grew envious, and they, as I could imagine it, like, having multiple wives, like, there's going to be a lot of drama. There's going to be a lot of envy and jealousy going on. Um, yeah, and really, this is going to go at the root of the problem of emotional immaturity. Like, emotional immaturity causes a lot of abuse, because people will not be considerate of your emotions. Like, they're not going to consider, your situation and how you might be going through your own things, and you might, have other interests that are not theirs. They're always going to prioritize their own interests, and you know, we might let this continue for even like years and years because we love that person, but it actually doesn't help that person. It doesn't help you, and like it's going to come to a point where um you're gonna have to get a divorce basically because they're not going to give you the option. Like it's going to be, choose you or them, and for once I actually chose me. Like I chose to work on this channel and to work on my videos, to work on my religion, on my spirituality, which my partner had absolutely no respect for, and like didn't believe in God and just didn't believe in me, and like didn't see my value and didn't think that I had value. Like he saw, to him my only value was basically to be a stepping stone, a punching bag, someone to elevate his own ego, at my expense, basically by consuming mine. Um, and so I'm I'm coming to you now, like to show you my my sins, just my sins of letting it go for so many years, of just letting him have his way. It's like letting the spoiled child have his way and like ruin it for everyone. And it just, in the end, I was not able to heal him. In the end, I was not able to control him to, really do anything. And it's just, it fell apart and caused all its devastation. And, in the end, after everything that I've sacrificed and given, I have nothing to show for it. I just, I'm alone, and it hurts. Like it hurts so bad. And, just approaching a certain age, you might feel like you're never going to find someone else, or that, that particular, Jewish person, or, whatever person is never, never going to show up or be there for you to, or just, you're never going to find someone else. Um, and there's just a lot of issues that go with it. Just my heart really goes out to all those people that are going through divorces. Like I fully understand, how heart-wrenching and devastating it is. Like it will cause you to lose your faith, and it will cause you to stray from Hashem. But unlike many people, I found solace in the Torah, and I've returned to Hashem, like instead of losing him, and like I'm not letting it embitter my soul. Like I am holding on to, my joy, my simcha, and I'm letting my own light shine. Like I am a spirit of Christmas, and like I wanted to, bring joy to other people. And like this, I basically had to decide that I was not going to let this crush my spirit, that I was going to let my own light shine, like the light of the light of the menorah, the light of, Christmas lights, Advent, which is going to lead us to Christmas. Um, and even though it's Asarah B'Tevet, it's a time of reflection, of mourning and repentance. Um, but we have Selikot, we have prayers, we have to realign our spirit to, good godly values. And, to me, this reminds me of chesed, of, the quality of kindness. Chesed is kindness, like kapwa, in Filipino, or karuna, in, Tibetan. Um, yeah, this is about chesed. Chesed is a giving from the heart. And like this is what the Torah was supposed to bring. It was supposed to give the world chesed. It was supposed to teach the world kindness and mercy. It's also the lesson of Yeshua. Um, and so, that's basically what I believe to be my mission. That, that this happened to me for a reason, because I had to grow personally, and like I had to let go of certain people that were not good for me. I had to, yeah, do some really hard things. I had to learn how to do things on my own, and like not rely on those people because they were harming me, um, and just were not allowing me to pursue my own interests and pursue my own mission, and like not even allowing me to like express my needs. Like just with narcissistic people, like if you have them in your family, like that you actually can't express your needs around them. Like they get upset. They say like, how dare you, like not talk about my own needs, or like it's always about them. Like everything is about them, and it's like you basically don't exist really. Like you can't, like if you grew up with narcissistic parents, like you basically grow up learning that you can't express your needs, that you're you know basically tormented for having for expressing those needs. You're made fun of, you're insulted, you're put down. um they're just not gonna be not gonna show up for you, like except in those rare moments when they're in a good mood and like when they're feeling like they're going to be generous because they're doing you a favor or something, like you know those rare moments, that that they will give you what you need, but those moments are few and far between. Like they're going to be a lot of chaotic, selfish moments, like it in there as well, and like it's a really big problem. Like I think this is a problem that is age old because it's in the Torah. Like it is the problem of Joseph and his 12 brothers. Like they had a lot of family problems. Like they had envy and jealousy, and like to even sell your brother off to slavery is hugely immoral and hugely immature. Um, we're probably not going to have something like that in the modern world, but people in the modern world, sell out their brothers and sisters all the time, like this with comments, with putting them down, with like not being there for them, with not backing them up when when they need to be backed up, with not telling people the right story about what they're actually trying to do and what they're trying to accomplish. And it is a pervasive problem, and it's just the cause of so much misery and pain. And like I want to return people to to the values of the Torah, to the values of Yeshua, of actually embracing self-sacrifice and betul, of betul, which is an abnegation of the ego. To be able to say to someone like, yes, I hear you, I hear your needs, and I will place your needs before my own. Like that is emotional maturity, that is emotional growth. And like a narcissistic person will never acknowledge that that's a thing. Like they just will not be able to grasp the concept of self-sacrifice, of being there for other people, of being consistently loyal to them, and valuing them as a person. Like they're just not going to value you. And just this, I think that, yeah, this hurts a lot of divorced people, like in particular, like women. Like I do see a trend with narcissistic men and women who are very giving and very empathic and basically give and give and give to their husbands, and then only to find that their husbands betray them. Um, it also happens the other way around with certain husbands and certain narcissistic wives, but I definitely see it more in the men. Like narcissism is definitely like more prevalent in the male population. Um, but I think but the women have their own problems too. And like I think for the narcissistic women, when it happens to women, like they, it really, it's heart wrenching. Like it hurts. Like yeah, it will twist your soul. Um, just yeah, I wish that we could all embrace the lessons of the Torah and like learn to actually love and appreciate each other and like listen to each other's needs and actually show some emotional growth. Like like emotional growth is to be able to respond to people as people, like to see their suffering, like to not use their suffering as something to enrich yourselves, to like the Egyptians did to the Jewish people, like throwing their babies in the Nile River and just enslaving them like that. Certain laws enacted, like even when the temple was sacked and Jerusalem was sieged and the people were moved to Babylon, like there was incredible torment and incredible pain associated with all that, of having your homes destroyed and like having your family be forcibly moved to another place. um and even in my own culture, in the Filipino culture, like we have a lot of broken families. So like I see a lot of women that have husbands that leave, and just that have like American lovers that they have children with, and then those lovers fly off and leave and don't pay child support, and just so many broken families in the Philippines, like I see, like from the product of abandonment and loss, and just people not showing any responsibility and not showing any maturity and growth. And it's a huge problem. And just I can't help but see the trends of just see how everything is connected, between the past and the present and the future, and just the stories of the Torah. Like they're living stories that still have relevance to us today. And just what but and there is a message of hope too. Like Joseph, despite being sold off by his brothers and being emotionally abused and physically abused, was still able to rise above it. Like he was still the the chosen one of God, and like he was able to embrace chesed, to embrace, yeah, kindness and compassion, and despite all of the evil that his brothers did to him, like he showed them mercy, like he forgave them, and like he forgave them, like he gave them food, like he was their salvation. He was the one that saved them from the famine, that by giving them the food from Egypt, which he had you know basically won through his hard work and dedication. Like, and despite being enslaved and put into those various positions, he was able to rise above each one because he had a certain light in him, like he had the light of God, that he never lost his faith, like he was oriented correctly to the holy blessed one be he. And so he showed real emotional growth, and like he was able to rise above these petty these petty fights, these petty like wars of like, you hurt me, now I hurt you, and now I'm not going to listen to you, now I'm not going to pick up the phone when you're calling, now you know children will be disowned by their own parents, and just you know all of these family problems, like we lose sight of God, like we lose sight of the light that is supposed to be within us, like we lose sight of our own souls. And I think Joseph held on to that, and like I am holding on to that, like I'm holding on to the goodness in my heart, like despite the harm that other people have inflicted on me, I'm going to let my light shine. I'm not going to let it embitter me. I'm going to still preach my own message of mercy and compassion despite the world not having compassion for me. And just despite people really throwing their boot at me just because I had less resources, because I was weak, because I was mentally disordered, and just had no money. Like that, people will always find a weak person to kick, like someone below them on the hierarchy to kick down in order to enrich their own ego. And it's not right. Like it's not fair. And those people have something to contribute to. Like maybe God gave them those particular problems so that they would perfect their souls, so that they would turn to their own light that they have to bring out to the world. Like you know not all of us are born with the same resources. Not all of us are kings and princes, and are born to rich families. Like some of us go through hardships, and yet those hardships can shape us. They can define us. Like they can perfect our souls, and allow us to show our own light. And they don't have to kill us. Like they don't have to embitter us. Like I see a lot of people, divorced people, their hearts become embittered after their husbands leave them, after they are betrayed, after they lose their children and go through legal battles where custody is um, again dealt with very immaturely, and there's a lot of emotional abuse. These things have the potential to embitter your heart and to turn you against your loved ones. But you could rise above it. You could do what Joseph did, and you could see the light of God. You could see the light of compassion, of mercy and compassion, and chesed. And you could choose to do the right thing. You would choose to turn the other cheek and show some emotional maturity and growth, and give back to your brothers despite them selling you out to slavery, as Joseph did. And so, yeah, the people that have hurt me, like I'm going to forgive them, but I'm also going to hold them accountable for what they did to me, and just the abuse, emotional abuse and neglect that they inflicted. But I'm not going to let it embitter my soul. Like I choose I choose light. Like I choose Rakamim. I choose, yeah, to live for something greater. Um, like I'm going to use it to enrich my message, to help me on my mission to bring chesed and kindness to the world. Like I'm not going to let it darken my soul. And I think that's what Asarah B'Tevet is about, in a way. Like the fast of Tevet, like despite losing Yerushalayim, and despite losing the Holy Temple, God still has a promise, for the chosen people, and a promise to mankind, to Israel, a promise to return back what was lost, a promise yeah, to elevate us, to redeem us, to to give us solace for our losses, and to have mercy on our souls. Like we can rise above it. We could use it to embrace mercy, to teach us about emotional maturity and growth. Um, we could use it to give tzedakah to the poor, and and then maybe even one day, like the people that did this to us, like let's say the Egyptians, the Babylonians, like maybe one day they can rise above it too. Like maybe one day they can embrace emotional growth and just or political growth, or just ethical growth, to do the right thing. Um, my people have a bit of a weird past, like a strange tie to like possibly the Acadians. Um, at least I think so. But yeah, but like my people had a demonic religion. Like we worship demons. Like we worship Lilahon, and we had a dark religion where we sacrifice people, and yet, you know, God has redeemed us. Like Yeshua redeemed us, and you know, taught us to see the light again, to yeah, to see the light of the Torah, and to embrace values of mercy and compassion. There's also the lesson of Lakambini, of a particular Dewata in the Philippines who was the Dewata of purity and redemption. Um, he's basically the same lesson of chesed, of kindness and mercy, of Rakamin, and just yeah, like I see that the all of the suffering and pain, the sacrifices, the forced sacrifices, being offered up into slavery by your own brothers, like just very like deeply felt like betrayals and trauma. Like all of those don't have to destroy us. Like they don't have to destroy our souls. We can rise above it. Like we can choose God. We can choose to do the right thing, and like choose to you know, let it perfect our souls. And like, yeah, it's kind of not really going with the logic of it. Like it's kind of paradoxical in a way, but like I choose mercy. Like I choose redemption. I choose Yeshua. I choose resurrection because I'm not going to let it defeat me. Like I'm not going to let it turn me into one of them. I'm not going to let it turn me into an abuser, into someone who has to take out their pain on someone else. Like for me, like the pain ends with me. Like I'm not going to take it out on someone else. I'm not going to, you know, feed my ego by crushing someone else's. Like it for me, it ends with me because I choose peace. I choose Rachamim. Like for me, I see the lesson, and like I am allowing the lesson to change me, and I choose Rachamim. And that's basically, I think, my lesson for you, on this Asarah B'Tevet is that I want you to choose chesed. I want you to choose compassion. Like if the emotionally right thing to do, the mature thing to do when someone is crying out and needs help is to listen to them, to help them, not to ignore them. Not to just not to not give people validation and recognition for their you know accomplishments, for the things that they've worked for. um I would give them that recognition, recognition that my parents never gave me, but I would give that to my own children, like my own people that I educate. um and just I would show love and compassion for people, like instead of using them to just to validate my own ego, to have someone to kick down to make myself feel better. Like I think eventually at some point we need to grow up and just like realize that this isn't going to work, and like this hurts people, and this we shouldn't allow this to continue. Like yet some people do this for their whole lives. Like they remain like 5-year-olds for their entire lives. And like I see people in their 60s and 70s that are still doing this, that are just bitter and just taking out their pain on everyone else. And I wish I wish I could help them. I wish that I could change them, just with the same change that I found in myself. But yet, I can't really do that for them. Like they have to grow on their own. They have to, yeah, they have to do it on their own time. Like I can't heal them. I can't change them. But I can sadly distance myself from them. I can cut them out from my life and just let my own light shine, and tend my own garden, and you know I guess return to the mission that God gave me. The mission that God gave Jonah, that he didn't want to do. He didn't want to go to Nineveh. but we all of us have a God-given mission, um, and we have to find our right audience and our right tribe. We have to find our place in the world, and we have to find a way to make it work. Like Joseph made it work with Pharaoh. Like he actually became Pharaoh's adopted son in a sense. Like and Pharaoh even gave him a wife and gave him riches and status and yeah and love. Um, like Pharaoh, yeah, became his adopted father in a sense. And sometimes we just have to make the most of the hand we're dealt and rise above it. And if Joseph can do it, then maybe I can do it. Maybe you can do it. Like you can do it because I'm showing you that I can do it. And I want you to yeah, to learn from my example and to learn from the example of Yeshua, that it doesn't have to be for nothing. It doesn't have to be for vain in vain. Like, our loved ones did not die in vain. Like our sacrifices were not done in vain. Like they mattered. They changed people. They changed the world, and they still live on. They live on in Asarah B'Tevet. They live on in you. They live on in the Torah. They live on in the Bible. They live on, yeah, because of me and you. It's the lesson of Yeshua. And I just want people to yeah, just to embrace each other, to listen to each other. Like when a baby is crying, let's attend to that baby's needs and like not shame and humiliate, that baby for even voicing that they have needs, or just showing that they have pain. Like some people are offended by other people's pain because it makes them feel bad and feel responsible, but maybe they're supposed to feel responsible. And just yeah, the world is just so broken, like, but we don't have to be broken ourselves. Like, you know we can keep hurting each other after our wars and just sending rockets to each other, and like families killing each other. Like we can continue to exact revenge on each other and continue to make the world a terrible place. But we could also choose growth. We could choose emotional, physical, spiritual growth, and actually heal. Like we could actually choose to see the truth, choose to see other people's perspectives and see the suffering that really everyone is heir to. Not just it's not just you that is suffering. It's literally everyone. Every single person is suffering, and not everyone has a voice. Not everyone is heard. But you know what? I hear you, and like God hears you. I heard you, and if I heard you, then other people can too. Like, and I want you to continue trying and to continue living and continue to shine your own light for the world. Because I believe in you. Like if no one else does, I do. And yeah, and like I wish that my loved ones, like the ones that I lost, could have seen my value and could have valued me for what I brought to the table, instead of just seeing me as a stepping stool and leaving when I didn't do things their way. But bygones, let bygones be bygones. And I just they have to find their own path, and I have to trust in Hashem that maybe one day they'll grow emotionally too, that they'll make the right choices. Like I can't do that growing for them. Um, and so in a very roundabout way, I'm just saying, I'm there with you, and like I thank you for you know for making it this far in this message. Like if you have, like, I I thank you for valuing me, for validating me, in ways that my family could not. Because now we are a family, as Joseph became a family with Pharaoh, and regained his family with Benjamin and his brothers that he saved and reunited with. It's about healing our families, healing our broken families, and like forgiving each other, and becoming whole again, become shalom. And so, yeah, so I wish you uh, a solemn Asarah B'Tevet, and just Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel neshoshet v'shel or halo lekol shira ishanikin. I'm sorry, I kind of nervous. כינור. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שירה ישני כינור. ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור, הלא לכל שירה ישני כינור. שלום עליכם.